Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I stand before you today not just as a product of the media, but as someone who has witnessed its extraordinary potential and its terrifying consequences. The media is not just what we see on our screens. It's the lens through which the world sees us. It shapes perception, builds narratives, and sometimes it defines reality. But with great power comes great responsibility. We live in a time where a single post can spark revolutions, challenge regimes, or crush reputations. The media can elevate the unheard, amplify the unseen, and give wings to stories that would otherwise fade into silence. But it can also distort, distract, and destroy if wielded irresponsibly. I've learned that the most powerful stories are not the loudest, they're the most honest. And in a world that scrolls faster than it listens, authenticity is the rarest currency. So I challenge all of us, creators, consumers, leaders, and citizens, to pause and reflect. Are we empowering voices or echoing noise? Are we seeking truth or selling fiction? Because the real power of the media lies not in how viral it goes, but in how deeply it connects with hearts, with minds, with change. Thank you. The media is not just a mirror reflecting society. It's also a powerful brush painting the way we interpret the world. From the headlines we read in the morning to the social media reels we scroll through at night, media frames our understanding of people, cultures, and events, often before we've had a chance to experience them ourselves. When stories are told repeatedly through a certain lens, they start to form our beliefs and expectations, sometimes even before we consciously realize it. This influence isn't always overt. It often works subtly, embedding biases and shaping attitudes, one image, one soundbite, one headline at a time. Take, for instance, the way certain regions or communities are portrayed in mainstream news or entertainment. When a place is consistently shown as dangerous, poor, or chaotic, it begins to live in our minds as exactly that, even if the reality is far more nuanced. Conversely, when success, beauty, or intelligence is repeatedly associated with certain identities or geographies, it reinforces privilege and narrows the lens through which we view potential and worth. These portrayals aren't accidental. They're the result of choices made in boardrooms, newsrooms, and studios, choices that have far-reaching consequences. Representation, therefore, becomes critical. When the media fails to show the diversity of human experience, not just in appearance, but in voice, leadership, and narrative control, it perpetuates stereotypes and erases realities. Imagine what it does to a young child who never sees someone who looks like them cast as the hero, the CEO, or the change maker. That absence becomes internalized. The message isn't just, "You're not seen." It's, "You don't matter." Media has the potential to either affirm or undermine our sense of identity and belonging, depending on how inclusive and accurate its portrayals are. Moreover, media is often our first point of contact with people we may never meet and places we may never go. In that sense, it becomes an educator, sometimes more influential than teachers or textbooks. Whether it's a documentary on climate change, a viral tweet about injustice, or a film that brings to light an untold history, media has the unique ability to inform and influence at scale. But when that power is not rooted in integrity or accountability, it risks misinforming just as easily. And when perception becomes divorced from truth, the damage is not just personal, it's collective. The power of media is undeniably vast, but it's also deeply paradoxical. It can be a spotlight that illuminates truth or a shadow that conceals it. At its best, media is a force for justice, a whistleblower, a voice for the voiceless, a bridge that connects divides. It can catalyze movements, expose corruption, and give rise to global empathy. Stories of resilience, innovation, and hope can transcend borders when told through responsible media. But that same platform, when misused or manipulated, can be equally dangerous. It can be weaponized to spread misinformation, incite hatred, and reinforce division, sometimes with devastating speed and reach. In the age of algorithms and instant amplification, this duality has grown even more pronounced. Information no longer needs to be accurate to be influential, it only needs to be viral. That creates a dangerous environment where sensationalism often triumphs over substance, and where truth can easily be drowned out by noise. Whether it's a doctored image, a biased news report, or a deliberately misleading headline, the damage caused by false or skewed narratives can be irreversible. The media has the ability to humanize or dehumanize, to provoke thought or provoke fear, and those outcomes hinge entirely on the intentions behind the message and the ethics of the messenger. What's most concerning is that audiences don't always recognize this power shift while it's happening. We tend to absorb and react before we question. We trust what looks polished, what comes from a blue check mark, what matches our existing worldview. That makes us vulnerable, not just as individuals, but as societies. Because when media is misused by those in positions of influence, it doesn't just alter public opinion, it can distort collective memory, rewrite history, and silence truth under the guise of entertainment or news. The media's dual nature is not simply about good or bad content. It's about the impact of unchecked influence in a world that increasingly blurs fact and fiction. In today's fast-paced digital world, the race for virality often overshadows the pursuit of authenticity. The media landscape is flooded with content designed to grab attention quickly. Flashy headlines, sensational videos, catchy memes, all crafted to generate likes, shares, and clicks. But virality is fleeting, a momentary spark that often lacks depth or meaning. Authenticity, on the other hand, requires time, honesty, and vulnerability. It demands that stories be told with genuine emotion and a commitment to truth, rather than manufactured drama or superficial appeal. The tension between these two forces shapes the content we consume and the culture we create. When media prioritizes virality over authenticity, it risks fostering cynicism and distrust. Audiences become skeptical, questioning whether what they see is real or just another staged performance for the sake of popularity. This skepticism is not unfounded. Countless instances of fake news, manipulated images, and orchestrated controversies have eroded confidence in the very platforms meant to inform and connect us. Authentic content, by contrast, builds lasting relationships between creators and their audiences. It invites empathy and understanding because it reflects real experiences, struggles, and triumphs, not just polished facades designed for maximum exposure. Authenticity is also a powerful catalyst for meaningful change. Stories that resonate deeply with people's lived realities inspire action far beyond the digital realm. When someone shares an honest account of overcoming adversity, confronting injustice, or embracing vulnerability, it sparks connection and solidarity. These narratives encourage conversations that matter and cultivate communities rooted in trust. In an era where media often feels overwhelming and fragmented, authenticity reminds us of the human behind every story. The shared emotions, hopes, and challenges that unite us all. The power of media doesn't rest solely in the hands of journalists, influencers, or media corporations. It is a shared responsibility that extends to every individual who consumes, shares, or creates content. In today's interconnected world, every click, like, comment, and share contributes to the amplification or suppression of information. Each person holds the potential to either uphold the integrity of the media ecosystem or contribute to its distortion. This collective responsibility means that being a passive consumer is no longer an option. Critical thinking and media literacy must become essential skills for all. When we engage with media content without questioning its source, accuracy, or intent, we unwittingly become part of a cycle that can spread misinformation or reinforce harmful stereotypes. On the other hand, taking the time to verify facts, seek diverse perspectives, and reflect on the motivations behind content empowers us to make informed decisions about what we endorse and propagate. This awareness transforms audiences into active participants in shaping media narratives, encouraging accountability and ethical storytelling. The digital age has democratized media production, but it also demands a higher level of discernment from every individual. Moreover, responsibility in media is not just about avoiding harm, but about actively promoting positive change. When individuals use their voices thoughtfully, whether through social media platforms or community engagement, they can spotlight injustices, celebrate underrepresented stories, and foster dialogue that bridges divides. Every share of a truthful story or respectful debate contributes to a healthier, more inclusive media environment. This collective power underscores the idea that media is not just a one-way broadcast, it's a shared space shaped by the values, choices, and actions of all who participate. At its core, the true power of media lies in its ability to connect people across boundaries, whether those boundaries are geographic, cultural, social, or ideological. Media creates a shared space where stories and experiences can be exchanged, fostering empathy and understanding among diverse audiences. In a world that often feels fragmented and divided, these connections remind us of our common humanity. They allow us to see beyond stereotypes and prejudices, helping us appreciate the richness and complexity of lives different from our own. It is through this genuine connection that media transcends mere information delivery to become a catalyst for compassion and unity. This connective power is especially important in moments of crisis or change. When natural disasters strike, social movements rise, or global challenges emerge, media can serve as a lifeline, bringing people together to offer support, mobilize resources, and share vital information. Stories highlight resilience and solidarity, inspire collective action, reminding us that we are stronger together. Beyond urgent moments, everyday narratives, whether shared through films, podcasts, or social media, build bridges that can challenge isolation and foster community. These connections nurture a sense of belonging and shared purpose, which are essential for social cohesion and progress. However, connection through media is not just about reaching many people, it's about reaching people deeply. The impact of a story or message is measured not by how widely it spreads, but by how meaningfully it resonates with individuals. Media that values depth over breadth encourages reflection, dialogue, and empathy rather than passive consumption. When media facilitates these deeper connections, it empowers individuals to see themselves in others, break down barriers, and envision a more inclusive and compassionate world. This is where media's true potential lies, not in fleeting fame, but in lasting relationships and transformative understanding. As we navigate this ever-evolving media landscape, we must remember that its true power is not in the technology or platforms, but in the choices we make every day, how we tell our stories, how we listen to others, and how we hold each other accountable. The media can be a force for division or a beacon of unity. It can silence voices or amplify them. It can mislead or enlighten. The difference lies in our awareness and our actions. So let us choose to be mindful, to be courageous, and to be authentic. Let us use the power of the media, not just to be seen or heard, but to build bridges, to inspire change, and to celebrate the shared humanity that connects us all. Because when media connects with truth and purpose, it doesn't just inform the world, it transforms it. Thank you.